Hello, I'm Alison Wiffen. I'm a ceramic designer maker. I make ceramic jewellery and I make pots. And I'd like to welcome you to my studio in Gargrave. This is my studio in the back half of the barn. When I moved here 5 years ago, the barn was in a bit of a parlour state. The roof was collapsing, it needed doors and windows putting in, and it took a couple of 2 or 3 years to actually get that all sorted out. But now I have a terrific studio, as you can see. It is very, very large, and effectively it's an insulated box. So it's got 4 lovely big radiators to keep me warm, and room enough for me to have 2 wheels so that I can obviously do my own throwing, but I can also teach a pupil as well. And here are some mugs that I've thrown and put handles on, and they're waiting to be decorated. I'll decorate them with a combination of liquid slips and underglazes. Underglazes tend to be brighter quite often than slips, but the advantage of both of those is that they are actually under the glaze, and therefore when you put the mugs into the dishwasher, they don't fade with time, unlike commercial pieces where the decoration is often just printed onto the surface and gradually it disappears over the years. I make a lot of jewellery, ceramic jewellery. It's been my bread and butter really for the last 17 years. And I do a lot of that work is for museum shops. So here, for example, I'm making a batch of To Be or Not to Be. That is the question. Cufflinks for Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. I've done a lot of work for different museum shops, and here in my kiln room I keep the stock for those. And below that there's lots of ingredients for glazes and slips. And then this is my large kiln. It's about 4 foot tall, about 2 foot 6 across. And then I have another smaller kiln so that I can do the jewellery in that and also do tests of things. I first did ceramics at school when I was 16 years old. I did CSE pottery and I absolutely loved it. But then I went off and had a life and did other things, and I didn't come back to ceramics until I was in my mid-30s, when I went to an adult education course and thought, wow, this is fun, I really enjoy this. So when I was 40 and decided to have a change of career, I decided to do a City and Guilds in ceramics. And that was a year long, and I really loved it. But my original plan was to set up a studio after that. But while I was doing it, I realised that actually I wasn't really going to be ready to set up my own studio. I needed more knowledge. So I put together a portfolio and I applied to go to Camberwell College of Art. They accepted me to do a BA Hons in visual arts, specialising in ceramics, and that's what I did. After I'd finished the BA, I set up a studio in Deptford where I lived. I was making small-scale sculptural decorative vessels, and people liked those, but I was also doing jewellery with my own photographic images on. I'd always been a keen photographer, and people really liked the jewellery. I was initially photographing drains, railings, manhole covers and station roofs, so the result was quite funky: cufflinks, pendants, earrings, etc. And then I started photographing local graffiti, and people like that. And then I was photographing architectural details and then whole buildings. Then I produced a range called Iconic London, of various landmarks throughout London, which was again very popular, particularly on cufflinks. So I started doing other cities as well: Newcastle, where I'm from, Leeds, where I first studied, Bristol, Bath, Brighton, Oxford, Cambridge, Liverpool, Sheffield, lots and lots of places, and you can see this work on my website. These are a few of the pairs of my cufflinks. These are the London Eye cufflinks from the iconic London range, and this is from the iconic Newcastle range, and it's of course the Angel of the North. And these are my latest addition from the Leeds-Liverpool Canal. This signpost is actually about 100 yards from where I live in Gargrave. These are my Tour de France cufflinks, and anybody who's a big fan of the Tour will understand them, because they're actually the 4 colours of the 4 jerseys that you can win in the Tour de France. And these are my Mondrian inspired cufflinks, but Mondrian might not actually like them because of course he never used green. And these are part of the Op Art range, which is a homage to Bridget Riley, 1960s Op Art artist. And within the Op Art range there's quite a lot of very nice pieces of ladies' jewellery, so pendants and earrings and brooches as well. Although the jewellery was successful and I really enjoyed making it, I did have a yen to get back to making proper pots. So when 5 years ago we moved to Gargrave, that was a good opportunity for me to do that. Once the studio was sorted out, I had a lot more space and I could get back to throwing particularly again. So that's what I've been doing, and I throw, amongst other things, I throw bowls, and you can see that they're colourful and they're very graphic. I feel as though they have quite a retro, I think all of my work has a bit of a retro look to it, something of the 60s and the 70s in it. And also I think I've been inspired by Ralph Steadman with the black splashiness. He's an illustrator who uses that style, and I've always really loved his work. I also sometimes throw pots without a bottom so that I can compress them into an oval, and that's what I've done here, and that gives me 2 distinct sides of the pot to decorate. And I also make mugs because I like mugs. I like the fact that you can use them every day, and it's nice to have a handmade mug, and they again are quite colourful, and then on the bottom is my signature. This is a display of work which is in the entrance to my barn, and as you can see it's very colourful and very graphic, and of course every piece is a one-off. On the other side of the barn as you come in is another display. This is more experimental work, so there's some sculptural pieces, and there are a number of tiles which I rather like doing, some large freely decorated platters, and some little black bowls which I enjoy pinching out of black clay, and then more tiles, and then another colourful platter. The last thing I'd like to show you is I do wall art, and these comprise bowls pinched out of black clay. They're very low, and they're done in a selection of colours which produce a really lovely piece of art. And of course the colours will depend on the colours that you want, perhaps the colours of the room that you're going to display it in. So I have done pieces for people that have been in pinks and greys and soft violet colours. This is in blues, greys and blue greens, and it is professionally framed, and it's ready, comes ready to hang on your wall.